right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Harambe's Bauble podcast, a Magic the Gathering podcast. This is episode 8. We're feeling great here with my man DC. How's it going, dude?
Yee yee 8. Doing good, man. Just got a workout in, drinking my protein shake, and ready to talk about Magic, especially this crazy update that we just got
Yeah.
from WotC.
Big announcement. So, a lot going on with changes to the bracket system, cards getting added and taken off the game changer list, maybe some potential bans in the future. I don't know, man. Where do you want to start talking about maybe these bracket updates?
Uh, I think we need to talk about what was lifted from from the ban list to start off, because I think that's actually has far more implications than what they actually did with the bracketing system, because I don't think really much changed there, to be honest with you. Um, man, so they removed. Let's see here. Let me get the list so I don't forget any.
Some crazy ones.
Yeah, definitely some crazy
Some
ones.
high mana value ones. We had Expropriate,
Yeah, there we go. I found the
Jin
list.
Gitaxis, Core Augur, Sway of the Stars, Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. I don't know.
The big one for me, well, honestly, two of the legends are big for me for game changers. The other ones, like, honestly, not that big of a deal. I was surprised they didn't remove more like Jessica's Will and stuff like that, because I feel like it's kind of niche. Because I mean, not every deck runs red, so I don't really understand why it's a game changer. It's not like you feel like you have to run that card. Yeah, it's good, but like they removed a collecting SWAT, so why not Jessica's Will? I don't know, just a personal preference for me. But the two big ones that they removed to me are Kinnan and Urza. I,
Yeah.
as someone who has dabbled a bit in CEDH, or at least with I mean, I've not really played much CEDH, but I at least am aware of how those games are played. Kinnan is just broken good. I mean, how this is not a game changer, I don't understand.
Yeah, both of those surprised me, and I think, their argument seems to just be that when it's in the 99 versus having it as the commander, it's like significantly, I don't know if nerfed is the right way of putting it, but it's, substantially less good. I I don't know. I can see to an extent maybe, but I'm with you. I mean, Cannon is bananas in any game that I've seen him in. And Urza is always solid. I mean, I don't think there's any card that I know of where you can just pay 5 generic, spin the wheel, and potentially bring out, your chonkiest boy or your nastiest spell. I mean, blanket, bring in these constructs. Yeah, those two really surprised me.
As someone who runs Urza in my 99 with Brea, I can't tell you how many times this card has just like gotten me to an infinite combo. Like I think I think for a lot of players, when you look at stringing turns together, stringing infinite combos, I think that's what people really expect to see in the game changers area. Not so much as like taxing or anything like that, but just like instant win cards. To me, you can play Urza and fish out the win instantly, like on your turn. And for 4 mana, that's nothing, especially because two of those is just Soul Ring mana.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, I run Ursa in my VV deck, and there have been plenty of times where my hand really doesn't have a whole lot, but VV is huge. I've got the mana. Hey, let's just keep spinning. And next thing I know, it's a totally different
Yeah,
battlefield ball game than where it was.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm
And,
I'm
and
with you. Those were
And with Brea, I mean, I have so many combo pieces. I just fish them out with Urza. Just go get them. Just shuffle, shuffle, get them, get them. So
right. Yeah, some of the higher mana costing cards like Sway of the Stars, I can kind of see where they're going with some of those, where I think essentially their idea is the more mana you pay, the crazier the effect should be. So with things like that, if you're paying 10 mana, you should expect a really bonkers ability. And I get that. I think this update, it's kind of almost a shift in perspective on how we're looking at the game changers list, where it's not necessarily what we were all initially thinking of, just any card that goes out there that's going
yeah,
to really literally change the game. But there's kind of this element of like lower mana costing, but crazy abilities that they're really trying to hone in on.
Yeah, they're really they're so you talked about at the beginning how they changed the bracket system or the idea of it, and really they, like you said, they're focused on low, like high impact, low cost cards. So get cards that could potentially win you the game within the first like 4 or 5 turns of the game. That's the ones they're really focusing on. And honestly, I just don't understand how Urza is not a part of that. Like I said, you're likely gonna get it out. I mean, you could tutor for it easy, demonic tutor, anything, whatever, and you could get it out by turn 2 if you really wanted to. Like there are easy ways to get it out by turn 2. And yeah, you might not be able to pay the 5 to shuffle or whatever, but you still create the construct, and you still get to untap artifacts you control to add the blue mana. So maybe you can. I could easily by turn 4 do that with Brea. Like that's easy peasy to do. So if you're looking at, yeah, it might be 4 mana or whatever. It's not the 2 cost or 3 cost that they're focusing on for shift change in the brackets, but I don't know. We talked about this a lot in the Discord too, about how mana cost almost means nothing in Commander because there's so much ramp. And you know, as it's probably going to be a future pod, we talk about power creep, but we mentioned it a little bit on the last pod about power creep as well. There's so much power creep where games are just faster and faster and faster, and 4 mana is just nothing to me. Like that, and a 5 colorless cost is nothing. Like that's nothing.
Well, and especially like you said, with, I mean, I think one of the stronger abilities that I don't always think about until it's on the battlefield is the whole tapping artifacts for blue. Because there's been so many times, especially like in my VV deck, where now I've gone more an artifact route where, I mean, just being able to tap 5 artifacts to spin it again and just activate that ability again. I mean, it's so strong
All the 0 costs,
and just consistently strong.
Yeah,
All the
since Age
0
Divining
and 1
Top, it's
cost
one
ones that
like,
are just chilling there, and hey, let's put you to good use.
Yeah, Skull Clamp, whatever.
It's nuts.
Like, too good.
Yeah. I did want to mention, though, I do think it's kind of cool, some of the bracket updates with, bracket 1 now having this focus on theme. So, if you want to run like a particular theme where maybe in their previous iteration, there might have been a card or two that would have been considered a game changer and bumped it up to a bracket 2, 3, 4. If it's on theme, you could still be considered bracket 1. Obviously, you want to have those discussions with your pod on like, hey, I'm doing a theme deck. This is the theme. You're going to see a couple of bonkers cards, but it's because I'm on theme with X, Y, and Z.
Well, yeah. What they've always said is it's about intent, and they actually hammered that home with this article, this massive article. I mean, it's pretty lengthy. If you want to go on their website, you can read the full thing. We're not going to cover all of it, but they definitely talked about that again, and that has always been true. I could take 2 cards out of Brea and it would be a bracket 3. Does Brea play like a bracket 3? No. Even with those 2 cards missing, like it's still like a very highly synergized competitive deck. And that's why I don't play it often unless you guys are like really wanting to test your decks to see how far you can push them, or if I always get the okay before I run it. I'm not just coming into my pod and being like, oh, well, you guys get to play against Brea every night.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. I think having that theme and just freeing it up a little bit more, they're defining them a little bit more, which I think is good. I think some of them, like bracket 4, bracket 3, probably could use a little bit more clarification still on some of the fine details. And they even mentioned in the article,
yeah, I was going to say
potentially putting in a new bucket
yeah.
of maybe something in between 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 to have more granularity, but. Also, the whole bracket 2 being updated so that it's no longer tied to precons. That's kind of cool. So it seems like now we might get precons where they'll kind of tell you ahead of time it's a bracket 1 precon or a bracket 2 or bracket 3 precon.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe updated after the fact once they realize there's an infinite combo in it, like Titus.
Yeah, which they said they didn't notice. How do you not notice that? How is no one? I don't know. Again, going back to our discussion of the QA struggles,
WotC
but
R&D, yeah, been struggling for many years now.
lots of changes, and they ended the article with kind of an interesting thing of sort of opening up a discussion for the community on a couple of cards that I don't really know why they chose these two cards. Honestly, I think I agree with what you were mentioning in the Discord, where there's a lot of other cards that probably could have warranted this discussion a little bit more. But the two that they chose to focus on is Ristic Study and Thassa's Oracle, and just trying to see, do people want these around in Commander? Do they not? And so, I mean, we've been talking about this at length all day, back and forth, and I know you got your thoughts, I've got mine, but Ristic Study, I mean, did that catch you off guard, them focusing on that in particular?
Absolutely. And, we talked about it at length today in the Discord about, I mean, you had your side of the argument, I had mine. I think most people are on your side where it's like Ristic Study is insane. It's insane. It's insane card draw, insane engine. Like you're almost always netting cards before your next turn. But the way I view it, and the way a lot of people view it that I've seen, is it's just a tax. Like either you pay the tax or you wait to cast your spells until you can remove it because it's that powerful. And there are cards that are just like that. I mean, there's Smothering Tithe. There's a lot of cards that are like it. Propaganda, like having to pay 2 every time you attack. It's a kill on sight card. And there are a lot of kill on sight cards, and I'm not really sure why that we are singling out this particular kill on sight card just because it's popular. Like, yeah, it gets played a lot because it's really good, but at the same time, unless you're running a bracket 4 like or something like that and you're taking it into a bracket 1 pod, then what change is it really making to your pod to ban this?
Yeah, and I think, as the discussion went on, I think I agree with you where this must have really just started because of people playing with lower level decks, going against higher level decks, and seeing this card and not being prepared to handle it. Because I agree, especially if you're playing a bracket 4, bracket 5, you should have the interaction that should be able to address this, or at least the efficiency baked into your deck where you could pay the 1 and not suffer too greatly until you do get that removal piece. If you're playing, your bracket 1, bracket 2, just fresh out of the box pre-con, I could totally understand going up against an overpowered deck why that would feel overwhelming, because it is, especially if you're a new player. That's an insane thing to see on a card.
Yeah.
And if you're just starting, you don't really get the full picture of how valuable card draw is until you have something like that happen to you, and then you go, oh, okay, yeah, this is
Mm-hmm.
something I need to get rid of immediately.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know, I'm with you. It's a pain in the ass to deal with, but there's a lot of difficult cards that you have to navigate in this game, and so why they singled that out in particular, not really too clear on that.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just so much instant removal that can take care of it before they can even get an interaction with it. Um, uh, yes, I mean, obviously, yeah, counterspell. Like that's when you're gonna want to counterspell. Everyone runs counterspells almost, even in bracket 2. Um, if you're playing bracket 3, I would say most every bracket 3 deck has multiple answers to Ristic Study in their deck, like Stroke of Midnight or Generous Gift or the one green that targets a creature or enchantment or whatever. I can't think of the name of it. Um, there's just too many answers, instant answers for it to be banned, in my opinion. Like, keep it a game changer because it absolutely is. I'm not arguing against that. It is a game changer. It's a phenomenal card. It's one of the best cards ever printed, and kind of by accident, because back when it was actually printed, it sucked. Like, there's only one v1. Why is this card good?
Yeah.
But that was well before Commander was even thought of.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think it's You should be prepared for it. I personally, I don't enjoy playing against heavy control decks. I know a lot of other people don't enjoy playing against heavy control decks, but is it worth banning? That's debatable as to whether it's worth banning for sure.
Yeah, if you're gonna ban one piece of the stacks, why not all pieces of the stacks? The one card
Right.
I
Like,
argued,
where do you draw the line?
right?
It's, yeah.
The one card I really argued against, like, why are we talking about this card? Yeah, is it annoying to play against? Absolutely. Is it a kill on side? Absolutely. But you have a card like Armageddon, which is just debilitating, just completely ruins the game. That you're not even mentioning in the same breath as Ristic Study. And to me, I would much rather play against a Ristic Study than Armageddon. 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I would do that every time.
Yeah. And especially because most people don't really know how to play Armageddon the right way. They kind of just feel salty about someone
They'll just
killing
play
something
it.
of theirs. And they're like, all right, you know what? Screw all you guys. Let's, it's like, all right, well, now it's going to be a 4 hour game. Cool.
Or Jokolops,
So,
and I don't draw
yeah.
land for 20 turns or whatever it was. Good
Yeah,
lord.
that was insane. Was that your Ishin deck that we
Yeah, it was
think
Ishin.
when you did that? Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so I mean, Ristic Study, I think there's probably still a lot of debate. I would be very surprised if they ended up banning this. I would also be very surprised if they ended up banning Thassa's Oracle. This one seemed very strange to me because I perfectly understand that, what, Demonic Consultation and Tainted Pact, like there's some low mana cards that paired with Thassa's Oracle, it's game over. Or you have higher mana cards like Enter the Infinite, like I have in VV, Thassa's Oracle. But Thassa's Oracle on its own is not that great of a card.
No, it kind of
I've had
sucks.
a few. Yeah, yeah. I mean, unless your devotion to blue is insanely large,
Yeah.
it's, you're really just scrying a couple of cards and then it comes out and it's not really strong enough to do much of anything on its own.
And let's be real, how many mono blue players are there in Commander pods? Not many. Not many.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one to me for sure. Um, I think if people are salty about it because it is an instant win card and 2 card win combos or whatever. But there's a lot of 2 card win combos. I think you're just seeing that one because it's the easiest one to fish out because you could tutor for the creature, you could tutor for the other pieces, like because you could tutor for instants or sorceries really easy with 1 mana cost. I think people are just salty about that in Ristic Study, to be honest, and I think the salt factor is really high, but game changers, yeah, sure, keep them there. But
Right.
there's no reason to ban these cards, in my opinion. Neither one.
Well, and especially because that's the whole like shtick with like a bracket 4 deck is having a 2 card combo that can win the game. Like
Yeah,
that's like in their definition
yeah.
of it. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah. Again, where do you draw the line of like why get rid of this potential 2 card combo, but still allow others? And yeah,
Yeah, it's strange. I think maybe they did just want to spark conversation more than anything because they kind of even alluded to like they all but said I doubt we'll do this, but we wanted to open the floor to the players to see what they thought about the discussions we had as a committee or whatever. They worded it very much like, yeah, not likely, but let's talk about it anyway.
right. Makes me wonder who on their panel was like, we got to get rid of this card. We need
Probably.
names.
Yeah, I still don't understand the banning prior to this either, but that's for another podcast. The one before WotC took over the committee, where it was what, ancient or mana crypt or ancient, what yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Mana Crypt, right? That had
yeah.
been around for like 20 years. And then
I don't even think it's
someone
that
somewhere
great.
else.
I really don't. Like, it's really good, don't get me wrong, but Soul Ring is infinitely better.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
just weird to me. Some of these decisions, I think largely outside of new cards being printed that are absolutely busted, I don't see really any reason to ban cards that have been around for so long. Like, it's not like that those cards are getting any better. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
people find new combos and stuff all the time, but the cards are the cards. And I think that's why you need to really have a hard definition, or at least a better definition on these brackets. And maybe the answer is to expand the brackets and have more ratings. Um, because I just I think you got to leave the cards alone, man. Like, let people have fun.
Right. Well, and especially like something like a Jeweled Lotus, where that was printed literally for Commander,
Mm-hmm.
and people spent how much? I mean, that card was like 70, $80 at least for a long time. And I don't know. I mean, I could understand maybe we want to rein in some of these fast mana sources, but also it's like that's where I think the brackets, like we're saying, can come in handy, where it's like once you find a right home for the card, it shouldn't matter about, I don't know. So
Well,
I
well,
guess more to come on that
yeah. Well,
and
to
their
your point, if
development.
you're playing uh, Lotus and it's your only like really good card in your bracket 2 deck, like the only game changer or whatever, and you don't have like all this other crazy ramp or combos, and it's just a fun card for you to play and like maybe play a big spell in a turn. Why is that bad? Why is that bad?
Right. Yeah. Like if you pulled it out of a pack, you're excited, you just want to play with it. You're not making a deck that's with the intent to be a
To win on
bracket
turn
4 or 5.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. So I don't know. I think it'll be the more that they've been developing this bracket system, though, I am starting to like it, especially compared to the previous system, which was not really well defined, where at least like
Well, it was in beta,
approaching
to be fair.
something.
Yeah, so
Well,
and
I
it
mean,
still
like
is.
before when it was like the power scale
Oh,
from
1 to
like
10 or
1
whatever.
to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of just like, who the knows how they're calculating this? At least
Very
now we have some
ambiguous.
guidance. Right, yeah. Everyone was just going to a random website like, I hope they tell me that this is strong. And now at least we have like some guidance on like
Yeah.
what it is. And so I don't know. I think over time it'll get more well defined, and I don't know, optimistic about the future of it. But some interesting decisions nonetheless, especially with the taking off the game changer list and having this discussion posed of what do you think about these two cards that are both kind of staples in their own way.
Well, another big change they made to Game Changers is a blanket change with tutors. Tutors before were considered, all of them were considered game changers, even like uh Diabolic Tutor, which is what, 5 mana, 4 or 5 mana.
Yeah,
Even that
4, I
was
think.
considered a game changer. And they're like, yeah, it's probably a bad idea to do that because nobody in bracket 4 and 5 is playing Diabolic Tutor. So what really is the point of having that as a game changer?
Right.
Because it's not quick enough for that. It's too bulky, even if it is good. But again, that's great because that's a card that definitely belongs in bracket 2 and 3, and even 1 for that matter. If you just want to go fish out a card that you want to play with, great. 5 mana to do it. You're probably playing it on turn 5, 6 anyway. At that point, let's get the game rolling. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sit
Yeah.
here all night. So,
Yeah. I do like that approach that they're now starting to take of like, if you're paying the mana for it, maybe let's not consider it a game changer because you've kind of earned it in a
yeah.
sense. So I do think that's a good change.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it could just get countered, right? Or whatever you bring out
Yeah,
could just get killed. So, I
right.
mean, you're
If they like
playing.
to farm,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, another big change though. This one, or at least the one they're considering, they haven't done it yet, but this seems like one they're definitely going to do. And I think this is a very welcome change, very good change, because it kind of doesn't, it goes against all of the rest of the formats in Magic. And that's the hybrid mana symbols. They're considering putting them in, like, so if it's green black, then you can play it in either your green deck, mono green deck, or mono black deck. Or if you have a 4 color deck and you're running no black in your 4 color deck, but you have this green black hybrid card, you could play that in your deck. I think that's a really good idea. Honestly, I think a lot of pods have probably rule zeroed this anyway, because thematically most of those cards are doing what you want to do in those cards in those colors anyway, which is why that they're hybrid colors. You could do either or. That's what those are always meant for.
Yeah.
So it's kind of confusing why that, that was specifically tied to color identity. And I wonder if this opens the gates for like cost in cards as well. If people, if uh, for instance, one of the angels that I have is a flip card, but I can't run it because its backside is technically red, even though you can't even cast it for red mana. You cast it only for white mana, and then it transforms into a red creature. Like, I wonder if they'll start to consider that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. I mean, like you said, especially with the hybrid mana, if by definition it means you can do one or the other, then for sure, why are we excluding these just because this other symbol happens to be in the picture? But it's an or, it's one or the other. So
Technically, you,
I
the
think it makes
player, are
total sense.
choosing the color identity when you cast it. So if you're only
Yeah,
casting it for green, then that's its color identity. So
yeah, that's a good change. I think that would be a good change to do, and would definitely open the door to, especially if you're playing a monocolored deck. There might be some options that have hybrid mana where now it's like, okay, I've got more to play with now, more tools at my disposal. I think it's a good change.
man, I can't tell you how many cards I have in my binder in bulk that I've like, oh, this would be cool, and then oh, it can't because of the hybrid symbol. It doesn't fit in the colors I want to run. So I think that yeah, I think that's a W. I haven't seen any negative pushback or feedback about that one. I think that's going to be a huge W for Commander, and one that they will definitely implement on their next update. I don't think that there's like any doubt in my mind about that one.
It'd be a good one for sure.
Yeah, but again, if our pod of however many is arguing about Ristic Study, and really Ristic Study was the big hot button one. I just wonder what other people are talking about. Please let us know in the comments what your pod thinks or what you think about the potential banning of Thassa's Oracle and of Ristic Study. Ristic Study is definitely a big hot button, I think, because like I said, so many people play it. It's one of the most beloved cards in all of Commander. It's a Commander staple. They even talk about in the article how it's akin to Soul Ring as far as like popularity goes in Commander. So I think that is a big one that they're asking for a lot of negative feedback if they ban, to be honest. Thassa's Oracle, I think people would be salty, but not like Ristic Study.
Yeah, I think Thassa's Oracle probably. I mean, you and I both play it in a couple of our decks, but I feel like it's more probably going to affect CEDH because that seems like a pretty common win con in CEDH.
Yeah.
But it just seems unnecessary because, like we were saying, I mean, unless you're going to do one of these game-ending combos, it's a card. Like it's not anything special on its
Right.
own. And so maybe evaluate some of the other pieces connected to it. And I wouldn't necessarily push for a ban, but game changer for sure. I
Was
mean,
it you or Dan that mentioned about putting like demonic consultation and the other black card, the one black cost card that exiles library? Demonic Pact, yeah.
yeah, I think that was Dan. Yeah.
But he said maybe put those in the game changers list, so that if you're running that combo in your deck, you're automatically like up a tier in your bracket. That's not a bad idea, but again, my argument against that is you have so many game changers in your deck, you go up a tier. What if you just run demonic consultation in your deck for the lulls, and like you know what I mean? Like the card by
Yeah.
itself is pretty bad.
Right. Yeah, unless you have that game-ending strategy, it's not the greatest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's better ways to go about it than straight up banning Thassa's Oracle, which is pretty tame on its own.
Yeah. And it's not
Yeah.
even that expensive of a card. Like what? It's like $20 in the grand scheme of like big time commander cards. There's so many more expensive
Yeah.
ones. Like if you really want to run a 2-card combo in your deck, that's probably the cheapest like infinite. Or it's not even infinite. It's just a game ending combo. That's probably the cheapest one.
Definitely one of them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We
And
could
not at the same level as Ristic Study, which is like very much like alters the experience for everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
I mean, I guess in a way, Thassa's Oracle does because the game's likely going to end, but it's not like it's just different. I don't know. It's a different flavor of disruption.
Yeah, it's not a static disruption. It's not one that's like making lengthening the game or speeding it up, right? You end it
Yeah,
or you don't. Like that's
it's a finishing move.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
We could go on about this, but I really want to hear from the community on this one. So please, all you TikTokers and YouTubers and everyone else, please let us know what you think, because I haven't seen a ton of discussion about this outside of our Discord yet. I mean, I've seen a little on Reddit, but it's Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I really interested to hear what you guys have to say about those two cards and the potential for their bannings. So. Why don't we do a little deck tech?
Let's do it.
I like this one. This one's cool because I built 3 decks all at once, 2 of which are as complete as I can get them without spending insane money. Very much both bracket 1. You could maybe make the case that Gwen is bracket 2 just because it can get a little fast. Because you're exiling so many cards and all that and kind of pilfering through your deck. But so what is a card that you've gotten recently for one of your decks that's played better than you expected or just been fun, something you didn't really expect to be as fun as it is? You kind of just threw it in and see what would happen, and it ended up being great.
Yeah, so for me, I went with a spacecraft because I talked a little bit last episode how with my VV deck, I've sort of taken a turn. I'm not doing the traditional instant sorcery storm route. I wanted to go more artifact. So my VV deck's kind of evolved into artifacts slash dragons, which has been just really fun for me because I love artifacts and I love dragons. So
Niv
it was
Mizzet.
perfect match. Yeah, I got all 4 Nib Mizzets now. What up? We doing the Nib Mizzet thing.
Love it.
But the one I went with was Uthros Research Craft. So it's 2 and a blue for artifact spaceship station. When you have 3 or more charge counters on it, it gains the ability whenever you cast an artifact spell, draw a card, put a charge counter on this spacecraft. Awesome. And then when it's 12 or more, it becomes a creature with flying, a 0/8, and it gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. So this is kind of a great complement for I have Joyra Weatherlight Captain in the deck, which is another great card draw based off artifacts, historic spells, but mostly I use it for artifacts. But just that ability of, I'm playing a lot of 0, 1, 2, 3 mana artifacts, being able to draw off those, potentially draw another artifact that I can then cast and buff VV more to cast more stuff. It's just great synergy. And then when I have all of these out there and the charge counters, it builds on itself as you're drawing. So you don't even necessarily have to station it. Once you get it to 3, you just let your artifact spells do the work for you. And then being a 0/8 flyer that gets buffed for each artifact you control, just really fun, really flexible. And the art is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Love it.
Remind me, do you have the extended art?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude,
Oh yeah. I
so
spent a
good.
crisp $2 and got that extended art.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the same. I'm gonna have to force this into Brea just because you played this card and oh man, Brea would love this card, and talk about fun. This card is fun. That is a fun card.
Yeah.
It was only printed in the Edge of Eternity's Commander. So I bet it's in what's the card? The one Mike runs now, the precon.
Oh yeah, the Jeskai colored one.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the ship.
What was the name of it?
It's gonna drive me crazy if I don't remember.
In Spirit.
In Spirit.
Flagship vessel.
I'm pretty sure this is an In Spirit. So yeah,
Yeah.
great card, man. I love this. And again, because it's in a precon, a lot of people probably don't even know about it. So it's funny because great minds, because mine is also only in a precon. And that is Wild Magic Sorcerer. So this is it was in the Forgotten Realms Commander. Uh, and it was also, I guess they also reprinted it in Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. So, uh, only 2 printings ever, so it's kind of pricey. It's like $8, something around there. I think I paid like 6. You could find good deals on TCG Player if you're a bargain bin hunter like I am. So I put this in Gwyn just like thinking, oh well, I like to cast cards from exile, right? So this would be really cool for that. And it turned out better than I thought, to be honest, especially whenever you make a copy of it, as I did. Wild Magic Sorcerer. It's a creature. It's an Orc Shaman. It's a 4/3. Dies the Lightning Bolt. That's the only downside of this card, to be honest. The first spell you cast from exile each turn has Cascade. Now, when that says each turn, that's important, because if you like I do to play instant stuff that cascades, or just instants in general, you might cascade twice if it has Cascade, right? Because you cascade for the spell itself and then you cascade again for this card. If you play an instant card from exile, or a foretold card from something like that, it cascades on other people's turns, so you might hit something great during their combat phase or pre-combat phase or whenever, if you're trying to fish for answers. This card is just great fun, great value for 4 mana. You're not going to regret playing it. It's only good. Like, you're only getting bonus cards from playing it. That's what I love about it. So
Yeah, and Gwen, the flip side, she gets buffed whenever you
it's
cast something from exile, right? So the fact that it's Cascade and you're casting that, it's so
you
cool. You're
get 2
getting, like you
counters on
said,
Gwen.
those
Yeah.
2 triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, it's
so cool.
perfect for Gwen. And so I thought about this, and we had thrown around the idea, you and I, of this new series we want to do about deck tech. And I was going to do Brea, but I think I'm going to deck tech Gwen, because there's not a lot. I've not seen really many people build Gwen decks out there. So I want to show that Gwen can be a really fun deck. So I'm going to do a deck tech on Gwen. I think I'm going to actually record that tomorrow and put it out there sometime this weekend, or maybe early next week. Yeah, very excited for people to see what Gwen can be. It's so different, just almost exclusively playing cards from exile, and this card is absolutely perfect and bonkers for Gwen.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. It's fun to see. It's been fun these last couple of months as we've started to like build more decks, and that we're doing decks that are totally different than other ones that we've done before. And that's such a unique mechanic of, gaining traction and momentum from casting in exile. I've never played a deck that was like that before. So
Yeah, I've
really
never
cool to see.
never played anything like this. It's way different, like you said. But it's fun because of that. And you know me, the thing I love the most about Magic is building decks. I spent so much time tinkering Gwen and perfecting it to min maxing it, the best I could. Like, what card can I take out? Or I literally, there's cards I ordered that I thought I was going to put in and ended up having to take out just because other cards work better. Sometimes it'd be like that. You want to force in the cards you order, but sometimes they don't work the way you envision. So
Right. You sign them from the practice squad. You see them in one practice, and you're like, "No,
yeah,
get back on the bench. You're not ready."
go back down to the G League, dog.
Right. And it was awesome too that like it's Gwen Stacy. I know Gwen Stacy's your girl,
It's
so
my
it's cool
girl.
that not only were you able to build the deck, but it's also been something that's just been fun for you to play.
It's been fun,
So
and honestly, like, it got its first win the other night, and it was surprisingly like pretty good. Like, even the game I didn't win, like, I thought she performed pretty good. Like, she was definitely a threat. So
yeah. I mean, it definitely didn't stand out as being lesser power or anything like that. It was throwing punches right there with it. So
yeah, and I love how you've retold, like you said before, your VV deck to really focus on artifacts. I think that's so cool that you've got all those 0 and 1 cost artifacts that on paper don't seem like very good, but whenever you're given VV Shroud and stuff like that, uh, it gets annoying pretty fast for everybody, because you're just constantly pinging everybody for 1. And then if you have
right.
Firebrand Archer out there too, whew, watch out, 2 a turn. And then you just got Torbrand from me. You traded for him. So
Yeah.
But
And the
3 a
Fiery
turn.
Emancipation too, like the
Yeah.
Fiery Emancipation, another great trade. Yeah, it's changing paths on that was a great decision because now it's, I mean, not only is it just fun to play, but it actually has its moments where it can pop off and
Yeah.
do a little something. And like you said, if I can make him unblockable, who would have thought you'd die from combat damage to Vivi?
Right. I love that. Um, it's kind of like me with Ishin, where initially I was like, oh, I gotta do all samurai, gotta do all samurai, and then I changed it, and now like that deck is very formidable. Like people do not like playing against
Oh
Ishin
yeah.
anymore. Like he got powerful pretty quick.
Yeah, well, that's another one that's kind of like based off a more unique mechanic of like attack triggers. You don't really
Right.
play a lot of decks that are just based off attack triggers, so it catches you off guard a lot because you're just not anticipating the shenanigans to ensue.
Stuff. You know me. I love the combo and stuff stacks, and it's like my kind of stuff. That's what I love to build around. And I've tried to combo. Like it was so hard for me to keep track whenever I got a big board state with Gwen, like that, I even messed up with Wild Mage Sorcerer because I didn't realize it was the first one you cast every turn. And I tried to do another one. You reminded me actually. You're like, it says the first one, right? And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I already actually played something from Exile before I casted it, so it didn't actually count. So yeah, it was a lot to keep up with, but man, there was so many triggers and stuff happening whenever I got that win. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I gotta keep this straight in my head."
Yeah, between that and your Omnith deck, you've got a lot to keep track of with a couple of those decks.
I retooled
It's cool though.
Omnith.
It's cool to see it just explode, just
Yeah,
like when
it's
those
fun.
board states just explode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
fun.
really cool.
I retooled Omnith a bit for sure. There's still some stuff I want to do to it, but I might play him soon. It's been a minute, and I did some big things to Omnith that I'm really trying to focus on landfall. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I'm excited to see it.
Tifa inspired me, bro. I need to get a copy of Tifa to put in that deck, to be honest, running the 99. So
Tifa got put in her place recently. I got reminded just though, because it's technically bracket one. It might not always play like that, but when you play against like a really good bracket four with a lot of removal, I got spanked a
oof.
couple of times. So yeah, I went against what was it, Saruman? I think Saruman the White. It's the Saruman the White Hand, where whenever you
Yeah.
cast a non-creature spell, a Mass Orcs X, and I mean it was like anything I played. All right, I'm gonna dismember that. I'll murder that. I'll do this. I'll do that. And next thing I know, I have like 30 lands and nothing to do with it. So,
Welcome to Grixis.
but
That's what it do.
right.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like I think it just depends too, because we played best 2 out of 3 with Tifa against Brea, and you actually ended up beating me best 2 out of 3. So I think that deck just depends on how fast you can get it going for sure. And clearly, yeah,
That's true.
you know, spot removal, if there's a lot of it, that's kind of the bane of that deck. But it's kind of just like certain decks play better against other decks. And Brea, as good as she is, sometimes if I don't get my stuff early, it gets outpaced. And that's what your deck does, is it goes fast. So
It's true.
yeah.
Yeah. It definitely is one of those decks where it's like if the engine gets going, it gets going. But if you can stop it at certain points, then it just kind of sputters out and just kind of the way that it is.
Yeah, it's funny because the other deck I built, and I think I've done a pretty decent job with, it got its second win the last time we played, and that's the Spider Tribal with Cosmic Spider-Man. And that deck didn't play exactly the
Dude.
way I thought it would play. It's kind of insane because I just built a wall of spiders. And even if
Yeah.
there's a board wipe, I just build it up again so fast that like people can't even get through. So it's like not even worth it for them to attack me. So they end up attacking each other. And then by the time they kill each other, I'm like, okay, I'll swing out for the game. And that's kind of how that deck plays. And I did not expect that at all when I built it. I thought I was like going to overpower people, like, really be fast. It's like, no, it's actually just building a giant wall of spiders and waiting out your opponent.
Yeah. And then even just with Cosmic Spider-Man, I mean, just sending him in at people with commander damage, that first strike,
Yeah.
and you're gaining life and it's flying, like, whew. That
Yeah.
is a spicy, spicy meatball to go against.
Yep. Yeah, it ended up being pretty good too. It's not as fun to play in my opinion as Gwen because I just like combos so much and there's a lot of like combo potential with Gwen. But it's still fun and I get to play all my cool spider cards, so I can't be mad about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have to save the power creep discussion again for the next pod because it's a whole big thing. We just had to, a big part of this pod was taken up by the big announcement that happened about Commander, and since we primarily talk about Commander, we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss it during this pod. So, um, I,
Yeah.
I don't think I
Next time, though.
have. Yeah, next time for sure because it's a big discussion. There's a lot to talk about there. I don't think I have anything else other than stay tuned for that deck tech. I'm still working on that video of me opening all my Spider-Man stuff. At this point, I don't even know if it's worth it to put out there because people were hating so much on the Spider-Man set, and as a whole, like I think I'm just gonna get clowned for not getting like value out of it. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, we could always maybe just like post some highlights or something like that
I
to the
might do that.
IG or to the TikTok, something. Yeah.
Yeah, I might do that.
Because I don't know why it's been getting so much hate. Because honestly, I don't know. I enjoyed it. And I mean, was it the most crazy set I've ever seen? No, but it was still enjoyable. And the artwork is really cool, very nostalgic, seeing all of these characters. And some of them are really good cards, too. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
some great cards in that set that's not just spider focused. I mean, they can be great in a lot of decks. I mean, you got to play Spectacular Spider Man and it saved your board state when we were playing last time. And, like, there's some great cards in that set. I think a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
are just feeling salty, but
Yeah,
such is
Spectacular
life.
Spider-Man definitely seems like a card that mono or any white deck's gonna run just to, like you said, save their board state because it's so easy to do so. So board wipe, not so
Yeah.
fast, homie.
You thought you had me, but nope.
Yep.
Man,
Yeah, I think the next time we don't get to play this week because I've got family stuff going on this weekend, but the next time we play, we're gonna be playing the Commander Cube, the Brawl Cube, that's ready to go. The Universe is Beyond. It's Popper Brawl Cube. It's so we're doing we'll talk about that when after we play it. So I'll describe to everyone what that's like. As far as like we've got some Rule Zero stuff we're doing to it. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I've not done a cube before, so this will be my first time venturing in that world. And the fact that it'll be universes beyond, it'll just be fun.
Yeah,
It always is fun playing with you guys. So,
heck yeah, yeah. Last time we played was so much fun, man. What a blast. Yeah, well, like I said, I think that's all for me. You got anything else?
just want to remind people, don't forget about Harambe.
Rest in peace, sweet prince. Also, share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps it. And really comment, talk to us. That's why we do this. We love all the comments. We love talking to people about how they play and what they think of cards. That's my favorite part about this, to be honest. Talking to the
For
community.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know what you think about Ristic Study, Thassa's Oracle. Are there other cards that should be banned, not be banned?
Yeah. All right. Well, bye.
Yeah. Bye.